Good evening, everyone. How is everybody doing?
Great. Doing good.
Happy Friday. Good afternoon. Congratulations, Dr. Du.
Thank you. Happy Friday to everybody.
Happy Friday. Congratulations, Doc.
Thanks, Kingsley. Tonight, we are going to be celebrating our sisters in cybersecurity, right? We started off a little bit, just a little bit late, but we are going to make it work. So I appreciate everybody's time. We will start here shortly. All right, so we are ready to begin. Welcome, everyone. I appreciate everybody's time. This is Eretmis Cyber Chat. We hold this every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if this is your first time of joining us, we welcome you to the Eretmis family. And I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. I'm going to be your facilitator for this. Today's session, we are going to be discussing women in cybersecurity, why we need more women in cybersecurity. And then also we are going to look at some statistics, and we'll have a panel discussion. We have some cybersecurity professionals who are going to share their opinions on this. And our PCI program is coming up still, Portland, Oregon, from the 12th to the 14th. So anybody around those, if you are close to that area, you can join the PCI community meeting. So tonight's discussion is centered around the lack of women in cybersecurity and how are we going to close that gap. That is going to be the discussion. So everybody is invited to contribute to this discussion and make it a very meaningful one. And the reason why we are doing this is to celebrate our sisters in cybersecurity, and also to kind of get some insights into maybe some of the challenges they might be facing, and why, in general, we have like a low number of women in cybersecurity. So that is what we are going to be looking at here. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu, a former United States Army captain, CEO of Eretmis Inc., a QSA company based in New York, and also Eretmis Academy, founder of Eretmis Academy, former professor of University of Maryland Global Campus and CTC. I love to talk about cybersecurity and everything cybersecurity. So we do this cyber chats every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, as our way of contributing to the knowledge, like the body of knowledge in cybersecurity, and also helping our community out and really creating more awareness about cybersecurity and the career prospects within cybersecurity. And this program is brought to you by Eretmis Academy. Right, so tonight we'll be looking at cyber news as usual, at least 2 top cyber news, and then we will look at women in cybersecurity, everything women in cybersecurity, and why we need more women in cybersecurity. And then we open the floor for our panel to discuss some of the questions that we have, and then we will wrap it up for tonight. Now, our internship is starting tomorrow. Our workshop/internship is starting tomorrow. So for everybody who is interested, I've not registered yet, you still have up to tonight to be able to get yourself in there, right? So let's begin with our cyber news. So for cyber news this week, one of the biggest stories is Telegram. A hacker who hacked into the Telegram account of some government officials in Brazil has been sentenced to 20 years in jail in Brazil, right? So if you are hacking into people's stuff, even if you are doing it for fun, it can get you in trouble. I think in the United States, there are laws that even prohibit you from just scanning people's IP addresses, right? So if you are doing those for fun, you can download some free vulnerability tools and use those for practice, right? So this person who was hacking into government officials' Telegram accounts, I'm not sure what the intent was, but he got himself in trouble, right? So this is no joke. If you are hacking into or you are trying to do anything on those lines, it is going to get you in trouble. And then also to speak to the fact that Brazil is, I think they are on the right path when it comes to cybersecurity. Most companies, they don't have the laws and regulations to be able to prosecute people who are malicious actors on those lines, right? In every country, when we talk about cybersecurity issues, first start with laws and regulations, right? If there are no laws, specific laws that speak to, if somebody hacks into a network or anything of that nature, if there is no law saying that is a crime, then I can, do anything that I want in terms of hacking, and I'm going to still get away with it, right? So Brazil, I think they are on the right path. So this person got himself 20 years for hacking into Telegram. Now, the next news is going to be on malware. Malware has been one of the biggest challenges and problems for the industry for the longest time now. And attackers are getting smarter and smarter, right? There are three malware loaders that attackers are using now. They are used for almost 80% of all types of malware attacks, right? And the three loaders are right here. Raspberry Robin, they have the Oakbot, and the last one is Sock Galish, right? They are like carriers, right, that are used to carry other forms of malware onto your systems. So they are malware loaders. They serve as a vehicle or a vessel. So attackers can use that to, carry or execute forms of malware such as ransomware, virus, trojans, and the rest, right? Now, if probably you don't remember what a malware is, it's a malicious software. So that is the short form for malicious software. Short form for malicious software is malware, right? So this is the new development in the malware space or in the attack space of malware, right? So with that, we are going to move on to our main topic for tonight, that is women in cybersecurity and why we have less women in cybersecurity. So we are going to look at some statistics and then we will continue with a panel discussion, and everybody else can contribute to this. So we are celebrating our sisters in cybersecurity. So women in cybersecurity, like what is the stats on that? Historically, the representation of women in the STEM side, that is science, technology, and engineering, is a bit lower, than their male counterparts. So some statistics from way back as 2017, there were about 14% representation when it comes to the cybersecurity field, as compared to 48% when it comes to like women in the general workforce, right? So which is pretty low, and still now is higher than 14%, but still is a bit low as compared to the male counterpart, right? Now in 2018, also a survey was conducted, and 10% of the cybersecurity workforce in Asia were like 10% of the cybersecurity workforce were women in Asia, and 9% in Africa, 8% in Latin America, 7% in Europe, 5% in Middle East. So the numbers are even worse outside the United States, right? So what are some of the reasons why we have low representation for women? Before we continue, let me make sure we have this on record. Okay, so we are still streaming live on YouTube, so we are not going to. Right. All right. So let's continue. So low representation. There are different reasons why we have low representation, right? Some of it we can really argue for or against. Others might probably be facts, right? So, like I said, historically, gender roles traditionally, like the STEM side or the STEM field has a low patronage when it comes to ladies or when it comes to women, right? It is male dominated, and that is a fact, right? And due to that, because cybersecurity falls under the science, technology, engineering, and maths side, that might be one of the reasons, right? And we are going to look at other reasons that might also probably cause this low representation and lack of awareness, that we can argue back and forth. Most young ladies or young women might not be fully aware of the opportunities available in cybersecurity. So without such exposure, obviously they might not even consider that as a career path, right? So that might be one of the reasons as well. Now, education and early exposure. So boys are more often encouraged into technology and at a younger age than girls. And this is also kind of arguable, right? We can argue for both sides. So exposure also plays a critical role as well, right? And bias in recruitment. So this kind of factual also kind of we can argue for or against, right? Mostly when it comes to job descriptions in the cybersecurity side, in the tech side, the wording is more male-oriented. They use more male-oriented language, which can sometimes maybe put off some potential female candidates who might want to, come into this area, right? So that might also be one. And then workplace environment. Also, the tech industry obviously is dominated mostly by men, and maybe it has been criticized for their hostile and unwelcoming environment for women. This we can also argue back and forth. Different women will have different perspective on this. That is why we have a panel today to help us with this discussion. So when it comes to really discrimination, I think now is not, maybe probably at a certain levels, but holistically from where I sit, I've not seen it that much, right? You are, from my experience, you are employed on your merits, right? And you have to also work for your money. So you are not going to be employed because you're a guy or, because you're a girl, but it's based on your, own abilities and your skills that you are bringing to the table, right? So lack of representation at the top also might be a cause of this. Mostly statistically, when it comes to the leadership side of security within companies, there are less women than men, right? And that might also, be maybe probably a contributing factor to this, because when it comes to like decisions, board decisions or employing people, if there are more women on the board, maybe that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to employ more women if they are not as qualified as men or other, way around. But at least that will also, if like women in higher or in top management in the security space might also motivate or inspire other female professionals to also, rise up to that level. And for imposter syndrome, I think is not only for women, but also for men, right? If you are getting into the security space or into IT or into any industry for that matter, right? There's always that imposter syndrome you might feel at a point in time, right? So maybe that might be more discouraging on the women's side than men. Not really know for sure. We are yet to find out from our panel. And we are going to move into why we need women in cybersecurity. Frankly, from my perspective, without even going through the points that we have on here, I think women, they bring a lot to the table in terms of how they view things, in terms of attention to detail. I'll say women have a better attention to detail skills than men. That is my opinion, right? We can also argue that out, right? They bring different perspectives. And women, in the security space, what I've seen, they tend to work a bit, they go above and beyond, mostly than men from what I've seen, right? So we are going to look at the list that we have. So diverse perspectives. So women, they bring different perspectives and experience to the table. And the women are also able to multitask. Women are able to multitask. If you have two pilots, one guy, one girl, and you observe them, right? Not even like you don't, I'm not even going to use that example, right? At home, you might see your sister, your mom, or your significant other. They might be cooking watching the kids on the phone with their friend, probably doing something else, like doing like 5 things at a time. And men, you see like your husband or your brother or your cousin, if they are watching football, it's just football. Like if they are playing their game, like nothing else can distract them. They cannot be playing and talking on the phone. Women can do like 5 things at a time. So they are good multitaskers. Like they can multitask way better than men, right? So, and in security, there's a lot of multitask going on. So all those are some of the reasons why we need more women in the security space. So addressing the skills gap, women can help us to do that because they bring a lot of talent to the table as well. Enhance problem-solving skills, women have that ability also as well. So those are some of the reasons why we need more women in the security space. Now we are going to leave it to our panel and we are going to start the discussion. So we have women in security and even women in other fields. They can also contribute to this because this is not just about cybersecurity, but women in STEM, in the science and technology side in general that we are talking about, looking specifically at cybersecurity. So I'm not, if Sheila and our panel members are here, I know Cynthia, I've seen Cynthia is here. I'm going to pin them and then we are going to open the floor for the discussion. So Sheila can go ahead and introduce our panel if Sheila is on here. And then Sheila and Michael might be reading some of the questions and we'll be going back and forth. And also it is open, so our panel will speak on it. And then we are also going to share our own idea and experiences and then make the discussion very fruitful, right? So if Sheila is here, she can take it away. If not, I'm going to go ahead and introduce some of the panel members that I can see on the screen. Go ahead, Sheila. Yes, I can see Sheila. Let me pin Sheila.
My name is Sheila. I'm a regional analyst. So today the panelist is myself, Sheila, like I said. We have Cynthia. If Cynthia is here.
Yeah, I've seen Cynthia. She's here.
Cynthia is here, okay. And then we also have, I know Barbara is not going to be available. So
yeah, Barbara is a bit under the weather, so Barbara couldn't make it.
Barbara
And Dennis couldn't make it. So
yes. Yes. We have Mavis.
Okay, Mavis also made it.
Here with us. And then we have Allison also to join us. And I hope you might hear. So here we are.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and pin all our panel members. That way it's easy for us to track them. So Sheila can go ahead and also Michael. Is Michael on here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So Sheila, Michael will help you with the questions also as well.
Okay. All right. You can get started, Michael, if you're ready. But I think our first question that we want to all understand is how, like Dr. Edu started, how for lack of knowledge of women in the industry, how we got to join the industry. I think we can start with that.
Okay, so that's good. I think we might have just our panel introduce themselves briefly,
yes,
just their name and what they do, and then we'll move into it, right?
Yes, of course. Sorry.
All right. No, that's fine. So Cynthia can go first, and then Mavis, and then Allison.
All right. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's been a while. My name is Cynthia. I am an information system security officer with DHS under PRISM. Yeah. So this is me. I started my the cybersecurity course and everything with Eretmis. And after a long while, I found a job. So I finally get to share with everybody here today the need for women to join. And I'm happy about that. Thank you.
All right,
Nice
Cynthia.
to meet you, Cynthia.
Thank you. Mavis can go. Go ahead, Mavis. Oh, I think you are still muted, Mavis. So whilst we're waiting for Mavis, Alison can go ahead.
All right. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, my name is Alison, and I started my cybersecurity journey with Eretmis. Then shortly after I had completed, I got a job as a cybersecurity analyst. I've been through different roles in cybersecurity. I was also cybersecurity engineer with VTF. Then I'm currently doing IT internal auditing, but majorly in cybersecurity. So that's me for now.
Okay, and also a little background. So Alison, where are you joining us from? I know Cynthia is in the States.
Uganda.
Okay.
It's Uganda, and it's I think 2:25 a.m.
Yeah, we appreciate your time, Alison. So
You're
Alison was part
welcome.
of one of a special program we did with ADDI. They were sponsoring African youth to get into cybersecurity, and Alison was one of the students from ADDI, and she's working in Uganda. She's done, and she's working in Uganda as a security professional. So thank you, Alison. It's 2 a.m., but she still made it. Alison
You're
is an
welcome.
overachiever. So, okay, let's go ahead. I think Mavis will be the last to introduce herself, and then we will take it from here. And I think I'm going to bump up Eliku. So Eliku will also join the panel. She's also working in cybersecurity in IT, so she will join the panel as well. So Eliku, you can also introduce yourself. I think I was supposed to reach out to you yesterday after the meeting, but since you are here, you can join the discussion. Okay, so Sheila, you can go ahead and take it from here.
Okay, thank you. All right. So some of the questions that we want to go through, and then possibly there might be some coming up, but the questions that we are going to be talking about, well, first of all, I also started with Eretmis before landing my job. So the questions that the first one we want to talk about is, have you ever felt, being a woman, have you ever felt that it gave you a different perspective when dealing with a cybersecurity issue? Can you share a story? Well, to start a conversation, I think that for what I do personally, I think I have an advantage in what I do, because I tend to have to build a relationship around. So I work with about 70 cities and town clerks, and a lot of them are women. So every time I get to meet them, I feel like it's usually easier for me to build a rapport and to be able to start a conversation with whatever I am working with. That is in my field. But as to getting the job, I think so too. It depends, but I think so because now that there's not a lot of women in the industry. So there's this imbalance where each department feel like they need to have that balance. So if you're a woman and you are applying, if you are up there or if you have your things straight, I think you do have that advantage also, because most of the team would like to have a female to show that they are diverse when it comes to sexism or for lack of better words. That's my thought. But what do you guys think? Alison, any of them, please chime in.
Yeah, I will hop in. Well, I think women, like any other group of people, we have different perspective to cybersecurity issues because of the like some of us, our background and experience that we've had. My story is not about an outbreak of an incident or fixing misconfiguration or something. It has to do with like Sheila was saying, getting into the industry, I had this notion that this field is for men. So anytime I had an interview, I panicked. Like I got scared, and I'll be thinking like, because I wasn't because I don't have much technical skills, you know. And then when I started, like most of the interviews that I was getting was technical. So, and I think this was because I was not exposed to the STEM, you know, at an early stage. But now that I am in the field, I see things different. Yeah. That's my opinion over there.
What do you think, Mavis? Mavis, you're still muted. Anyone else can chime in? I think Cynthia.
Hi, Sheila.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, this is Mavis, but I think it's not the Mavis you thought about. This is Mavis who just graduated from the internship last week. Well, I'm also a woman, so
Go
maybe I'll
ahead.
be able to say something a little bit about cybersecurity. Like for me, changing my field to cyber, it was something different, you know. I'm in the health sector, and when I heard about the cybersecurity, I was looking for something that would kind of give me the time with my family and everything. So I wanted to do away with the bedside nursing and get something better for myself and the family. So I decided to join the cyber world. And at first I was scared. I was really, really scared. But joining the internship made me so confident that I have been putting in for jobs and waiting to get any call for the interview. So it is great. It is great. And it has really given me the insight into the cyber world. And it's given me the confidence to be able to tell somebody that, hey, you are going to a phishing attack. Because I have a friend who just purchased a phone. She got an email, and the email was about a site for her to purchase a phone because she needed phones to go sell. And she went in, purchased the phone. She called me immediately and said, hey, May, this site, I'm going to go purchase this phone here. And it's very cheap, an iPhone 14 Pro Max for $50. I said, what? It's fraud. So don't even click on the site. That is a phishing attack there. My dear, is a phishing attack. So don't go in. And she said, no, this is an opportunity for her to get a cheap phone. It's cheap. I said, well, if you do it, then your money will be gone. But she didn't heed to my advice. She did. And unfortunately, the phone never came. The money never came. So this is the insight I got, and I was able to educate her and let her know that next time when you get such emails and you call me and I tell you, you got to listen. So I think every woman needs to join the cyber world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mavis. Thank you. Thank you for at least chiming in. I hope Allison has something to share.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead, Alikum. I think.
Yeah, so my name is Ileko. I'm actually still in the program, but I do work in IT.
Good.
And part of my tasks include doing cybersecurity tasks, which involve staging some of the applications and devices. Just mainly when you do what they consider staging is they have some okay. I feel like I'm going into the techniques, and that might be a little above some of the audience. So I'll just say, like, sometimes when they find vulnerabilities that are not able to be taken care of immediately, they, you know, they strategize, like when they can be taken care of, like the period within which they can be taken care of. and then people are assigned different either machines or applications to make sure that those things that are missing, that are have been picked up as vulnerabilities, are addressed. And so I've helped in that. Sometimes I've helped scan machines for ports that may be open, that don't need to be open, and bring this to the attention of the network team, and then they go ahead and apply either the patches or do disable those ports. Sometimes I have some machines may still have, or rather some applications may still have the admin, like the default admin access. So those ones we also disable. And I think as a woman being in this field, I believe it's probably sometimes easier just because people tend to be more willing to help. Like if you tell them, hey, I'm not sure what to do here, they tend to be more willing to help. Or maybe women are just not shy about asking if they need help. But I find guys struggle a bit, being vulnerable and saying, hey, I don't know how to do this. So yeah, that's my contribution.
Thank you. I think you bring out a very good point. The nature too helps. I think Allison was going to chime in and please go ahead.
Yeah. So in my case, I think it I wouldn't say it was really, it's hard, but it's more like a societal type of thing, especially like in my country. I'd say, let me say you would walk into an office, you've come to do like address an issue or carry out a pen test. And then the first thing is always people say, you sent me a girl, like, why would you send me a lady? Or why would you? But then the thing is, when you, as a lady, once you set out to do something like the points Dr. Du was talking about, we tend to do things when we set out to do them and we set our minds to do them, we tend to do them very well. Like you make it a point to prove to yourself that you can do this and stuff. So you'd walk into an office and someone first society like, ladies are not supposed to be doing this. You could be doing something better, like being home or something. But then after you solve the issue, they're like, oh, so you can do this. Oh, I did think like that's the perspective they tend to have. So usually it's always about blocking it out and just carrying on. But that's it.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. I think everybody shared something, I believe.
Yeah, I think Sydney has.
Yes.
There's a hand up. So Sydney, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Edu, and congratulations. Yeah, I have two things I want to touch. And I would like to share a little bit of my life with the women here. Probably they're going to learn from it. You see, the last speaker said something about being intimidated and feeling like it's the men's world. I had experienced that. And I know for us women, there's this thing about us that if we want to get things done, we go all out for it. When I first came to the US, most of the people around me are in the health sector, but I had a background in computer science. So I just decided I was going to build on it. And I started self-studying. I didn't know anybody. And up till now, I still don't know a lot of people. But I stayed at home while I was expecting my work authorization, and I self-studied a lot. I started practicing for interview. But surprisingly, I landed my first job in America in an oil company, Motiva Enterprises. And while I was going through these interview phases, I had a friend I was always like making fun, say, oh, they've called me again. I don't know how this is going to be. I had that confidence, like I knew what I was doing. But when I got the job, and this was a 6-figure job, I had never seen such a thing in my life. But when I got the job and then we go for a meeting, there will be all guys. I'll feel so intimidated. I'll feel like I have so much to say, but I can't bring myself to saying it. And I had to confide with one of my colleagues. I said, Sydney, what has happened to you? And these were people I went through that interviewed me. I mean, I went through like 3 stages of interview up to the CIO. Where I got that confidence from, I don't know. But for some reason, I lost it because of the event. I'll come back on like, what's going on? I didn't see anybody to talk to me. And that was when I decided to go register with the Women in Cybersecurity. I was just looking for someone to talk to me, to mentor me, to encourage me. But eventually, I lost the job. And one of the things that made me to lose the job was that loss of self-confidence, because I couldn't move on, but I had so much to offer, right? And it was in the course of this, I reached out to Dr. Adu, which I'm still like, for Christ's sake, I don't know what led me to him, but I have so much confidence in this man that I know God will make a way for me to still be part of this thing. But I was like, I need somebody to talk to. And he spoke to me in a way that I felt like, wow, this person has just injected that confidence in me again, you know? And even when I'm yet to get grounded with him, I've still been studying. And within this period, I said, okay, I think this is the area I need to concentrate on. I'm sorry if I'm taking time, you know, I'm going to pick up my child, but I was really looking forward to this meeting to see how I can encourage women to stay up, because I felt a victim of that intimidation. Okay. So within this time, I've tried to do a couple of certifications, not just certifications, training to gain more knowledge. Even in public speaking, I try to because sometimes they'll come on board like, we have accent. I came from Africa. So, oh, you've got accent. I say, yeah, I have accent, but you have accent too, right? So these are things, culture change, culture shock, that we just need to come together and encourage ourselves. Because I know, especially African women, we've got so much to offer. We've got so much to offer. And I said, probably this is going to be a platform. I'm going to be able to talk to someone that is probably feeling the way I felt years back. But even before joining Dr. Adu, right now, I can tell someone if I want to do any kind of gap analysis, all those things in the GRC, I can speak into those things, right? And looks like that confidence is back. So that's why I'm like trying to encourage you through this platform to just hit the road, hit the ground running, and don't let anybody intimidate you. Seriously, don't let anybody tell you you're less of who you are. I regret every step. I regret everything. So let's stay strong for each other. And please, Dr. Adu is doing something very wonderful that I love, but I'm going to give him a private call. Thank you so much for your time, and keep being who you are.
Thank you so much, Sydney. You are amazing. The story that you shared is very strong, and thank you. I think we all deserve to hear that. So thank you. I think Brian wants to say something.
Yes, to the lady that just spoke. What's her name?
Her name is Sydney.
Sydney. Okay, just wanted to say,
yes, Sydney.
You don't have to regret anything that you did, because in life, you don't win or lose. You just win or you learn. So just keep that in mind, that when you think you made a mistake, don't worry about if you thought you lost. You just had to learn something. And now that you've learned something, you're going to get better and better at those interviews. You're going to get better at your job, and you're going to go in there with the best confidence ever, knowing that when you have the skills in your head, when you have the know-how, you are going to take over that room Walk in that room like God sent you. That's what I wanted to tell you.
Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you. I think I've gotten it back. I had one interview today and I was shocked. I even recorded myself. Like, I was like, is this me? Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Brian.
You're welcome.
Good. That amazing discussion. All right. I think Dr. D, you said Michael is on here too.
Yeah, Michael can start from the rest, like can take the rest of the questions, and then we'll just continue with the discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is Michael here. I hope everybody can hear me. Can everyone hear me? Sheila, can you confirm for me, please?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll continue with the question, but I just wanted to say, Sydney, I literally had I had goosebumps, all over me. I appreciate you sharing your experience. And from what I can tell, trust me, in case you didn't know, there are 83 people on here. You spoke extremely well. I can tell like you have zero issues when it comes to public speaking, just so you know. You're on the right path and the sky is your limit, Sydney. Just wanted you to know that.
Thank
Okay.
you, Mike. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you.
Absolutely. God bless you too. All right, I'll
Yeah.
go into the next question, which talks about leadership when it comes to cybersecurity with women. And before I go ahead and do that, I'll just drop this name in this chat. Of course, it's all about women here today. I just dropped this name in this chat just to give people an opportunity. So Jen Easterly, right? She is the director of Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, which is CISA, right? I will highly encourage, not even just the females, everybody, but I just wanted to use this opportunity to give this resource to all our females. I do personally follow her on LinkedIn. She shares like great insight about cybersecurity. So for all our women on this platform, on this meeting, please, I highly encourage you all. If you need someone as a mentor, someone to look up to you, like Sydney said, you can literally just add her on LinkedIn and just follow her, because I've been following her for a long time. So, and this is just in line to the question I'm about to ask our panel here. So why do you think there are so few women leaders in cybersecurity? So why do you think there are so few women leaders in cybersecurity, and how does that affect your work environment? And probably I will just pop this question over to you, Sheila, if you want to start.
I think, thank you, Michael. I think that it has something to do with beginning when Dr. Du was explaining how the awareness, and that's why I was asking that question, the awareness among women when it comes to IT, cybersecurity. For me, I personally, I had no idea. If somebody met me and told me that I would be doing what I do, or I will be getting into cybersecurity, IT, I would have said never, because that I didn't see that in my future. But my husband is the one who came home one day and said, oh, I think I want to do this. I'm like, what is that? He's like, oh, this class is okay. I'm like, okay, go ahead. So he started, I was standing on his shoulders, and I was like, I just want to have an idea of what this is about. And ended up sitting next to him and studying, and that is where I am now. So that is how I found out. And so I think it's that awareness of women knowing what it is and actually getting in. So I think we are getting in late. There's very few in the industry. And so being few, even if you look at what Sydney said, for you to actually ground your way from the beginning all the way up to leadership, I think we have a long way to go, but little by little, now that the awareness is coming out there, I think in the next few years ahead of us, you will see more leadership of women in this field. That's what I think. But guys.
Yes, I can continue from here if I have the floor.
Of course, please.
Yes, what I will add to Sheila's is, like, the first thing I will talk about is gender bias. This unconsciously affects hiring hiring and promotion decisions, since those who make these decisions have the notion that women have caregiving responsibilities and may request time offs, and some will, give birth and take maternity leave. They will be attending to their kids and stuff like that. They forget that women who are in the working industry tend to be career driven, and some of them even think about their work more than the men. And another thing that I will also say is that some women, like the women, we face hostile and unwelcoming environments. And this does not encourage us to, pursue the leadership roles because of how, like, if there's a situation at work and they are looking for people to resolve it, and it has to do with like technical issues, it's the men who will be called. And even if a lady has an idea and a man has an idea, they might pick the man's instead of over the ladies. Maybe if they had tried the ladies, giving it a chance, it might work better than the man. But because the person is a lady, they will tend to take the man's. So I think like these are some of the things that don't encourage the women to get the leadership positions.
All right, thank you so much. Anybody else?
Yes, Alison here. So I also think it's also about misrepresentation by the media on how they represent women, like in different things. Take an example. There was an article that came out that said, like, from the movie Top Gun, by Tom Cruise, that after people watching it, over the Navy was able to recruit, like the Navy percentage of recruitment increased to 500% of men being recruited into the Navy. So because the way media portrays different things is also impacts also the way people see it. So if there are no lady representations or what, you kind of, in the mind, it keeps on building like, okay, that's meant for our guy, that's meant for our guy. Like it keeps on with that. So media contributes a lot to how we perceive or how we see ourselves in positions, and the different ways in which we get into positions, because it all starts with the mind. Once your mindset is changed, or once you perceive something, then that's how you'll see it. You'll always, even when there is let me say, an opening in a leadership position in an organization, it will always be, well, I guess a guy has a better chance of getting it than me. So it takes a certain, I would say, kind of woman, or like for you to break away all those barriers and be like, why don't I give it a shot or something like that? So yes, that's it for me.
All right. Anybody else before we go on to our next question?
Yeah, let me chip in this. I would also like to say lack of mentorship on the part of the women. Men mostly like to impact others, but I don't know why women usually don't have the will to do so. I don't know whether it is lack of confidence or I don't know what it is, but unless you reach out to us, we will not let you know what we know. I don't know why, but some men, even from afar, when they see their colleagues struggling, they make an effort. So I think it is something we need to work on so that we can encourage others to join us those at the top, to join them. I'm not at the top yet, so yeah, thank you.
You are still at the top, Cynthia. ISO, you are at the top. Christopher, go ahead, and then Adriana will go.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. D. So what I just want to contribute to this discussion is I don't even know, honestly. Sometimes I sit in my room and I ask myself, do I 5.0 GPA before we can be fully accepted? It's not about the IT world. It's all across. Like if you work in any offices or whatever. Dr. D, got to a point I was due for like a managerial position. I am a public administrator. You know what they did? They had to pair me with a guy. I'm like, listen, I am out of here. Why can't I just single-handedly handle this public administration policies and stuff? That is why I decided to do career change. And then I started with this IT, did my cyber class and whatever I have to do. Even so, when I'm hearing this, I'm like, nowhere cool. I thought these people were like this. And now when I'm coming here to you, your gate is even stronger than the regular people. So it's like, honestly, we need help. We need help before we start demonstration. So please, you guys need to help us. It's everywhere. Why can't I just be the manager and manage, but you have to pair me with the other guy so that, oh, now we have two managers. You are going to handle this part and this guy. I never saw anybody managing with another guy. So maybe I think we need to do more. I don't know what we have to do to prove ourselves. I mean, it's painful, honestly. That's all I can say. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. In cyber, in pharmacy, in public administration, in the government. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, Dr. Edu. Maybe you guys need to come up with something, write proposal. I mean, you guys need to help us.
All right, Christabel. So that is why we are holding a forum like this, to let you also know there are women in here who are doing big and better things, and then to serve as an encouragement and to give you some insights into how we are going to, try to overcome this. But one step at a time, small wins, small victories, we are going to get there. Adrian, go ahead. Adrian.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, I can hear you. Welcome and nice to see you guys again. I'm going back here for a long time. Let me take my hearing. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, well, what you is absolutely true. Is the imposter syndrome that every woman has. We women has an imposter syndrome. We always think that we don't do enough, or we are not good enough. We're not good enough. We need just to. You see me? I'm still in my office, and behind I have my colleague, Dr. Chang. What I do right now is what you taught me. I'm doing the GEPRA assessment for the clinic that I've never done, and now I'm moving to do more and more and more and more. And acceptance is about taking your chair. If you are not invited at the table, what do? You remember the story of the folding chair? Even if it's a joke now in the United States, right? The folding chair. You take your folding chair and you move people and you sit at the table, you put your plate and you say you're here. Is definitely sometimes difficult to do. You have to go beyond who you are. I'm here in Los Angeles, California, sitting in a clinic where I never did this job. And I'm the one calling and doing the assessment, doing the GEPRA. But do you know about the GEPRA? You use a lot of technology. We work on Caltrix. We work with Next Gen. We work with Salesforce. I've never learned that, but because of the courage that they give us, it gives me anything that they put on the table, I will learn it and find a way to turn around, even if there is some small mistake, I will learn. There's also a step of opening your brain, opening your mind, not coming and say, oh, I'm not good enough and being intimidated. To be honest with you, we women intimidate people without knowing. We don't see it because it's how we grew up of saying that, oh, yes, my parents say that, we don't have to say no, we have to learn to say no first. And also we are like everybody are on our shoulder. We have also to say, no, I cannot do that. I don't want to do that and know our limitation. However, we still have this syndrome of imposter. I mean, it's a lot of job, a lot of emotional, mental, and psychological work that has to be done because we grew up as Black women. We grew up with the idea of we can do everything. And Dr. Adu knows me and knows my daughter. Sometimes I just say, hey, I'm gone. I don't come for the weekend. I go to a hotel. I sit there. She will me that. Where are you, Mom? I say, no, I'm taking time for myself. And taking time of ourselves also is part of saying, okay, I have to self-care. I have to work on my self-care and on my progress, on my future, on what I want to do, and not always sacrificing ourselves because it's what we think about. And from this step, yes, it's difficult. We can push. We can continue to push. We have a lot of Dr. Adu around who are helping us, and many of the guys who are here. It's just a matter of saying, I don't know. Teach me, and you learn. Even if you know, sometimes I say, I don't know. Then they teach me more, and I can humble myself to open my brain to do more. Thank you for having me. I'm still in my office in Venice near the ocean, but I'm so happy to see you guys today. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Olanri Waju, please go ahead.
Yes, Doctor. It's nice joining this program once again. I just want to say I think there should be an advocate, perhaps to all organizations, if there could be a certain quotas for female, and that advocate should be driven extensively. So perhaps by so doing, they will give leverage to women to come into all organizations, as has been said, not limited to IT world. And I felt some organizations perhaps are doing it because I have a situation whereby I have about 6 people in my church, for instance. About 5 of them are females. And they are all, and 2, precisely 2 boys, 2 female, 2 male, 2 female, 5 females. They are looking for job. And I tell him in less than 2-3 months, all the 5 females are gotten the job. None of these guys got the job. I was like, what's happening? Are they giving privilege to these female folks than the males? So but the bottom line is, if there's an advocate to all organizations to just give women the quota, maybe 30%, 35% of the employee, or perhaps to be on the top cadre up there.
Oh yeah, Olan, you were coming in broken. All right, but I think your point is well made. We need advocates on the job for our sisters and our mothers, our significant others. Eliku, go ahead.
Yeah, I just also wanted to chime in and say, as a woman, there are certain stereotypes that people have. And so there are times when it's really a balancing act, either on the team or as a leader, because depending on how you project yourself or how people see you, some people will label you as aggressive, or because they're expecting you to act a certain kind of way. And so it's, I think, very important, especially when you join a company, to take time to kind of study and see how people interact. Because there are times you're just being you. I mean, and eventually people can learn that, but sometimes it can create barriers for you if people perceive that as a woman you're, acting kind of masculine or, aggressive, and it just may be your style of communication or doing things. So I think for women, there's that extra effort in trying to do a balancing act as opposed to guys. And again, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
All right, thank you, Eliku. Tunde, go ahead.
Thank you. I want to, I've listened to everybody. I think we have a very valid point. But I want to play devil's advocate here, and this will be more of like a question also. How is this problem? How is it different from minorities and all the discriminations they've had along their career, right? How is it different from a minority looking for a job, or a minority not being in the medical field or being in the business field? So the question is that, is it similar or is it different? That's one. Then from myself, I think that women should do more, right? Because I see my wife too in that same position, right? They don't want to put themselves out, right? I keep trying to encourage her that, you have to do this and you have to do that. In as much as it's not women themselves to blame for any reason, it's just institutional discrimination, right? I kind of think it's somehow similar to the challenges of minorities generally. So we have to look at how have minorities, Latinos, African American, and all these people, how have they been able to break some barriers? So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
All right, Tunde, thank you. I think Tunde really stroked some, maybe probably like you made a point that, everybody else also want to chime in. So we'll go to Vic, and then we'll go to Brian, and we go to Awini, we go to Kingsley, and then we move on. So Vic, go ahead.
Yes, I want to thank you so much, Dr. Adu, for all you do. And I want to encourage women here today as well. Being a woman myself, venturing into cybersecurity, and I know that most of the things, like the last speaker said, women trying to put themselves out there, especially married women, cultural setbacks, the way that we are trained to speak. And when you are damned if you do, you are damned if you don't. You try to speak up so that if you're in a board, when meetings are held, you're trying to speak up for you to be heard. And then it's timed different things, you could say, but I take a lead, I take a, consolation from what Madam Madeleine Albright said one time. She's late now, that when she's with all those leaders, heads of states and all that, and she's trying to put up her efforts for her voice to be heard, she will be called names like, oh, are you in your period? Or why are you emotional? And why did you sleep well? Or did your husband treat you right? And I mean, different kinds of things. But she said she learned how to use that as an advantage. Say, yes, I'm in my period. You better hear me. So that's one of the things that we cannot take these things, discrimination, like the brother said, they are pushing it to the next level. We are a minority that we're not getting enough chance in job places. And then when we get there, they don't want us to be heard. It's either that you are too rude, or that you are very emotional, or that I'm not your husband, or all manner of things. But I am here to encourage women to stay your course and keep on. So long as you know you're on the right path and you're doing the right thing, trying to push your way and push your career, and being civilized at the same time, just like every other person. Don't worry about what they say about us. That's just encouragement I'm trying to put out there.
Thank you very much, Vic. Brian, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. To the second speaker, just wanted to answer that question. They are different, and this is why. Even though that the majority of us on here may be minority, women have it a little bit harder as well, and this is why. Sometimes when women go for an interview, or they're at the workplace, they can face sexual harassment, or they can face different motives that the guy may want to hire the woman for different type of motives. So when a woman goes in for an interview or she's at the workplace, she wants to go there and make sure that she's safe. One, because she is a woman, and it's a lot different for a woman because she's facing several other things because she's a woman. You'll have some managers, as soon as they see a woman coming for an interview, they'll think, well, I'm superior than her, so she wouldn't even fit the bill. I want a guy in here. There are a lot of managers that just want men to work at the place. So that's why in some ways they are different. Even though she may be a minority, she still has something else against her because she's a woman. So that's why they are different.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Awini, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I think it seems we all know of the problems why women are facing the problems they are facing. Women are stereotyped, they lack mentorship, they have challenges like work-life balances, limited opportunities, barriers to entry, harassment and discrimination. All these are problems. But what I want us to do is that let's shift the focus from the problems and rather shift to the solutions. So, because whether you like it or not, there is somebody in the organization who will create some of these problems, or society will create it for the woman. But when we are able to develop the woman to become very resilient, very tough, and can withstand all sort of challenges in the work environment, then the woman become a sustainable, develop a sustainable career in the cybersecurity field. So first of all, I would suggest that women should take into mentorship. Mentorship like what some of them are doing on this platform, and always learning and learning. Not only mentorship, they should associate with mentorship events, conferences, speaking conferences, saying that they can constantly learn and build their confidence. Whenever you are very confident and you open your mouth to speak, the other person will be forced to listen. So when you do that, then it means that you are exerting your dominance. And that will be one of the key ways to move on. And the issues of culture. Every organization has got its culture. When you enter into the organization, study the organizational culture and see how you can use the organization culture to be able to dominate within the field. And every organization has a language they speak. And every organization has a success parameter. If you work out the processes to succeed, you succeed. If you don't work it, it won't do. So I will encourage everybody here, if you are a woman, especially those within this space that we are currently discussing, form an association where you can, at least if it even you meet once a week, take a topic and discuss. And then when you do that, Dr. Edu said, cybersecurity is a language. So are you speaking the language? So let's learn to speak the language so that at any opportunity at all we get, when you open your mouth, you are talking the language. You are sensitizing people. You are educating people, and they will know that this employee is on top of issues. Then another issue has to do with agenda sensitization and training. When you occupy any other position, don't forget of the girl who is below you or the woman who is below you. Try to encourage her and also bring her up. When we do most of these things, we will be encouraged to give confidence to our women to be able to take on challenges. And then even some of the women are so intelligent that people will just tell them that, oh, STEM is for men. So they shy away from it. One person will just use one language to put down a woman's future. Meanwhile, this woman could have been anything at all she wanted to be, but because a father or an uncle said this is difficult, he has just spoiled the woman's future like that. So some of these meetings or associations or mentorship program or training events or networking events will boost their morale to be able to be on top of issues and then be able to address the problems they are facing. To me, let's tackle it from the solution point of view and rather leave the problem, because whether we like it or not, the society will always be the problem. And we cannot tackle all. So let's tackle what we can do. And one woman at a time will build the confidence of everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Arini. Great point made. Kingsley, go ahead.
Fight the society.
Thank you, Dr. Adu. So for me, it's just like what Winnie just said. We cannot be talking about discrimination when these people are not even aware of what cybersecurity is about. I have spoken to a few people who their jobs are even related to cybersecurity, but they don't even know it. A lot of women. I've had some of them take the beginner's course for them to just have an idea of what is going on. So for me, I think it's all about awareness, where most of these women don't even think cybersecurity is anything they can do. Oh, I'm not computer savvy. I don't know anything about cybersecurity. I'm like, but you use your phone and you have apps. You have this that you do every day. You do your two-way authentication on your phone, on your WhatsApp. I said, that's cybersecurity. So we need to be able to start an awareness for our women. Our wives I'm trying to get my daughter into cybersecurity right now. The first time I brought it up, she's like, I don't think I can do it. But by the time I spoke to her and make her understand what is going on, she's taking her trainings right now. So we need to go on an awareness to our wives, our daughters, our sisters, and make them understand what cybersecurity is about, the benefits, and how it's going to benefit them. Especially for those of them who are looking for remote positions, who want to work from home and be able to juggle all the activities they have. So we must go on the awareness drive. Before we talk about discrimination in the industry, we are discriminated against. Whether you're a man or a woman, we're a minority. The discrimination is always going to be there. But like Awini said, once you speak the language, you understand, they understand that you know where you're coming from, you know what you're doing. There's so much they can discriminate against you. You're going to thrive. So the point is to start awareness, make our women, more women, especially those women here, drag your other women in. Let's talk to our women and bring them in.
Thank you, Kingsley. Kenny, go ahead.
Oh, I was on mute. All right, peace, everyone. Yeah, so I just wanted to, this topic is kind of near and dear to me because I got into cybersecurity because of a woman. And specifically it's Sheila, because at the career that I was at before I got into cybersecurity, I was on an all women team, and Sheila was also on that team. And I was going through some changes, career changes at the time where I wanted to, excel. And the reason why I was able to follow some of the tips that Sheila was giving me, even though she was a woman, is because I always observed that she always stood up for herself, like speaking up if there's an issue, kind of putting herself out as a leader. And to me thinking about this now, I think that for there to be more women in tech, and for women to excel in cybersecurity, they need to stand up for themselves. And those gender biases and discrimination in the workplace, they're always going to be there. I don't have an answer for that, but I know from my personal experience, especially with, on that team that I was, is that the women have to, first of all, they have to pull each other, help mentor each other, and not, even if there's differences, to not pull the other down, because it is a male-dominated industry. So every chance that a woman has to lift up another woman, that also helps with the mentorship. And someone had made a comment about sometimes the guys will, get a little bit lazy on the job, and the women will stick to the task and have like some type of community support towards the task at the project, to do the project at hand. And I think that's very true. when I was on that all-women team. And also too, from a male perspective, I know as a man, when I see a woman, you know, for example, when Sheila, I seen that she was a good wife. You know, I seen that, you know, she, based on like what I hear or observations, I see that, you know, she taking care of her family. Like, men always look at that, those little soft things that are not, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, because as men, we have like these, one guy mentioned too, like when a woman's going for a job interview, there could be ulterior motives for that guy to give the job, but you know, unfortunately that happens. And I think as long as the woman speaks up for herself, you know, if she's a leader, try to fit that role as best as she can. Because that scrutiny is always going to be there, especially a man in a, you know, CISO position, managerial position, hiring that woman. He's going to look, you know, he's gonna scrutinize to see, all right, she has the tech skills to do this. Does she have the soft skills? And then probably try to look out a little bit more to find out, you know, who's this woman because of the biases that are out there. Let me check her Instagram, her Facebook. Let me check other things. You know, so I'm just saying, like, there's those innuendo things that will take a while to correct. But I think the first thing is women standing up for themselves and mentoring each other. And that's all I want to say. Thanks.
Great input, Kenny. Great input. Ike, and then Laurie will go, and we will move back to Michael. Go ahead, Ike.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes. It's been a long and very, very important discussion about women and sisters. How do we get them to be more encouraged, and why are they discriminated against? I think I've had couple of experience in the corporate organization I've worked. I'll try to make it brief. I think what happens is that when a woman applies for a job, they're looking out for so many things, not just about the tech part of her. They know women are emotional because some of the managers in the office and top officials, they know that they have wives, they know how they behave at home. Like, they feel like, okay, if they get upset, you know, they could do something, you know, irrational without thinking about it because they're emotional. Just like I've had time where we're in office, so a manager walked to a supervisor, a lady, and she was like, "Why didn't you send the email?" And she was like, "Leave me alone." Like, he was like, "Send the email. We are waiting." And she just took the water and, you know, poured it on the desk. Like, she got upset and she walked away. And everybody was like, "Leave her alone. Like, let her be." The manager was like, I was just like trying to ask you a question. So it's just women being emotional. I think nobody has spoken about it, but they also have to consider that when they are being employed, when they see them, they consider all those areas to say, okay, putting her in that position. Like, someone spoke and said she was given a position, but a public administration position in office, and they have to put her together with a male guy. Like, she felt so bad. Why can't she handle that position where she can interact with people and do those office work that's required? But she was merged together with someone else, like a male colleague, to say, okay, both of you work together. And she was not happy about her head when she was, I don't remember her name, but it was on this same topic. So why they did that, they feel like, okay, if they allow a woman to handle that position, you know, she gets like offended. Some people don't control their anger when it comes to women. Some of them are very emotional, highly emotional. I've had them as a manager. My manager was emotional every time. One time I worked in the bank. Okay, so when I worked with First Convenient Bank, it was the same thing. She was a manager, but we always have to go to our supervisor because she don't want to hear nothing. When she come to work, sometimes she's so mad. We don't know if the husband annoyed her or what's going on. You tell her good morning, she don't listen to you. At a point, they have to remove her from the branch and make the supervisor the manager of our branch when I worked in First Convenient. So that's what I'm saying. So when we're talking about how they are discriminated against, they need to come up more in studies. Like someone said here also that he's been the one encouraging the wife, that the wife don't want to study more. You know, women don't want to put that too much effort to study more. They feel like, okay, I'm tired. I want to go relax. But they're still okay. They are being marginalized against, or they are being discriminated against. So all this thing is being considered. So I feel like women should come together to start thinking, okay, how can I be outstanding? Let me look at, okay, even if I'm emotional at home, let me not carry my normal emotional life to work. I have to understand it's a workplace. The picture I paint there is what they will have in recruiting or putting other women in that position. Because just like example, the one I had where I worked before, when she threw that water, they never employed anybody to put them, any female to put her in that position. She messed it up for other women. So that's the thing that is considered. So hopefully women will come together to be, sharing ideas on how to comport themselves more, study more, and be outstanding. That's what I have to contribute. Thank you.
Thank you, Ike. Laurie, go ahead.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm new to this space. I want to just say thank you for this opportunity to speak. Thank you for you, Doctor, for having this forum. I think it's awesome. I'm new to cybersecurity. I'll be very honest. I've been in healthcare for over 20 years as a social worker and a private practice therapist, and I need a way out. So this is that window. I've recently been accepted to ISC2 to get the cybersecurity foundation that I need, so that when I join your program, I have a better understanding, and I do have the technical skills of acknowledging what is it that I'm learning beforehand. So I want to say thank you for that as well. I thank the women and the men on this forum right now. I think this is an excellent topic. So was the topic that I listened to on last Friday. This is my second time. And what I would like to say in regards to this particular subject is there were a lot of great points. I think there are some points that are a little bit biased, but that's okay, because you can only go by your shared experience and what you've acknowledged and seen. And I respect that. I have sat as a manager. I am currently a social worker at Veterans Affairs in Chicago. And I have also been a manager, and I have a private practice. So I've seen it from every aspect. Having said that, I just wanted to thank everyone for this opportunity. And I hope that we continue to push forward and acknowledge each other's shared experiences and respect it, and that we continue on to move forward. I am so honored to hear the women on this forum, because you guys are giving me inspiration, as with the men. You guys are all inspiring. There was even someone in the chat giving inspiration to the women. And I think everyone's shared experience we can learn from. Thank you so much, and have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, Laurie. Alan, go ahead, and then we will hand it back over to Michael.
Yeah, hello. It was a very, very, very good discussion. I know on your Dr. Ado, in your opening statement, the lack of women in cybersecurity, you touched it all. So for all our colleagues, for our women's sister mothers in this platform, I would say, the bias, unwelcome imposter syndrome is always going to be there. I think one speaker, I believe that Vic said, just put it on the side. So we need to push, in this platform, we need to support all of them. And other thing I want to say is, the in USA, the percentage is higher than the other continent. So that could be educational, and so the cultural issue there. So I think Kingsley also said awareness. So here for our wife, sister, kids, we need to tell them. And so this technology is not going to stop in here. It's going to continue. We're going to live in a technology, telephone, cell phone. So more awareness to be there. And then in this platform, all the men we need to support, encourage our sisters in the platform. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful for this discussion. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Michael, you can go ahead with, we will look at 2 more questions and then we'll wrap it up. We will continue this discussion next week. So there is more for us to talk about. So next week we are going to continue where Michael has 2 more questions, and then we will take some more insights. I mean, I'm really glad for this discussion, and also for our panel. Please, you can go ahead and leave your LinkedIn links in there. That way, your fellow sisters will be able to reach out, and that is how we build that confidence and then that mentorship. So you can form that group, and like this discussion, even when we're done next week, it shouldn't just end there. We have a lot of women on here who are working in tech and in cybersecurity, so you can mentor and encourage each other as well. So if we want to see change, it has to start here. Right. So go ahead, Michael.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah. So the next question is, lots of women in cybersecurity have backgrounds in other fields like business, like social sciences, right? So do you think this helps in bringing fresh ideas to the table? And I'll say this one more time. A lot of women in cybersecurity have like various backgrounds, like in business, social sciences and whatnot, right? So do you think this helps in bringing fresh ideas to the table? And I will start with Sheila. Sorry, Sheila, I know I like picking on you a lot.
I think Sheila was logged off. She just came back on. So Cynthia or Allison can start with this, and then maybe Sheila will chime in later. So Allison or Cynthia, if anyone is ready.
All right, thank you for that question. Cybersecurity is not about technology alone. And that is why I believe they have good communication skills as part of the skills that they need. There should be someone who can break down technical things or situations to the understanding of the non-technical stakeholders. So with this in mind, I believe they know women, or we all know women, we do a lot of talking, and then we know how to calm situations and carry messages across. So I think we help in terms of these skills, like talking about soft skills in the cyber security industry. And then when it comes to like some responsibilities or duties like risk management or risk assessment, you deal with figures and numbers. So if you were a woman and you have these backgrounds like the social sciences and business and all the others, it helps in these aspects as well. It's not just about like the scanning and the rest. We do thinking, critical thinking. We use maths and stuff, dealing with figures, analyzing situations here when it comes to resolving them. So I think, yes, we contribute, and it helps a lot coming from set backgrounds with the sciences and the businesses and stuff.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah. Anybody else?
Eliku, you have your hand up.
Yeah. I do believe actually not just the women, but anybody having exposure in different industries and then comes into cybersecurity, they are actually, I guess, increase the diversity and are able to maybe bring out some aspects of cybersecurity that might not have been considered. Hello, am I still on?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, that may not have been considered by others, because you can tend to have tunnel vision if all you know is cybersecurity in maybe banking. Somebody comes in with exposure from, let's say, healthcare or a different industry. They just enrich the cybersecurity field. And I also believe because women have to like multitask, deal with different, issues and in different industries. They tend to have more of a diverse background than most men who, when they join a certain field, they'll probably end up retiring in that field. So I do believe this diversity of background for most people who are switching careers into cybersecurity, be they women or men, enriches the field. Again, as I said, bringing in different perspectives that might have been overlooked by the people who have been practicing cybersecurity in that field, in whichever niche they found themselves. Yeah, so that's my contribution.
All right, thank you, Eliku. Doc, go ahead.
I think having domain knowledge and expertise could actually boost the confidence of an individual working within cybersecurity. Having that background knowledge could help one become a SME or actually a leader within a particular domain. And certainly if they have had leadership responsibility, maybe through project management, and that's another avenue within a specific domain to boost that confidence and push the person toward excelling within the cyberspace.
Thank you, Doc. Always very insightful. Brian, go ahead.
I was going to say, when it comes to business and social science, or whatever that last one was, women are amazing at business. I'll tell you that. Especially if you look at the Proverbs 31 woman, she was a multitasker and she was very calculated. So women are so good at business. It just amazes me that just my experience of seeing women through the years, that let's just say if they had a bad experience and a bad relationship, they will start a business and they will be on it and they're very calculated and they will get things done. So having that business mentality, they would be good at cybersecurity, one, because they know about business. And with cybersecurity, the most important thing that you're protecting is the business assets. That's what the business cares about, is what are you going to do to protect my assets? And women are very good at that. And they're very calculated as well. When they're dealing with social science, they know how to multitask. Like I said before, they just know how to get things done. And that's all I have to say with that. They're amazing.
Great insight, Brian. Kathleen, go ahead.
Hello and good evening. Thank you all so very much for your comments and perspectives. I value all of them. Where I may not agree, I do value the perspective. I want to just offer a different spin. I am an IT professional, and in my freshman year of college, I took a personality test. The first match that came up was a FBI agent. Being a female firstborn, my parents, all they could think of was me holding a gun and shooting someone. And so I was all automatically eliminated from that. However, the passion inside of me just swells at any instance of investigative research, analytical work. So cybersecurity was like my answer to be behind the scenes and do what I really wanted to do. But I didn't feel like I was at a phase in my life where I wanted to return to education and multitask, leading the home and all the other stuff we have to do. However, COVID offered an opportunity where I would not have all those other responsibilities. So this part is where I was getting to share with women who are aspiring to be in cybersecurity, but may not be gaining roles, the ones that you want. So I volunteered for a kids Python camp to be a coach online. The founder of the organization was so impressed that he asked me to be in his executive suite of his business. So from there, so that is called the Black Cybersecurity Association. A board member on there who began Empower Her Cybersecurity, which I want the women to hear, is a mentorship program. It is a very impressive, exhaustive program. If you are going to get into it, plan on full immersion and plan on getting a full-bodied experience. So let me reiterate, by volunteering for a kids coding camp online, I was invited to be in the executive board and the C-suite for two cybersecurity organizations, and I sit in those roles. From there, because of the networking, which we know network is everybody can finish the rest of that sentence. The gentleman who wrote many of the programs at Microsoft invited me to begin to teach cybersecurity. So all this to say this, I don't have a bachelor's. I don't have Security Plus. I don't have Network Plus. I don't have any credentials that would have afforded me this, in parentheses, except I serve this kind of God. But volunteering can get you where other things cannot. Because you are offering yourself as a service, you are respected. If you can articulate well, like I know I can, you will get yourself in places because you are a female. That's what I want to say, is because you are a female.
Wow.
I am in male spaces because I'm the female that they needed, and you are the female that they need. Thank you.
Great perspective, Kathleen. We appreciate your perspective. And if you can also please go ahead and put your LinkedIn in the chat. That way your sisters can also reach out. Great perspective. All right, Michael. On that great note, we are going to come back to you, and then you move on to the last question, and then we wrap it up.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, like Dr. Du rightly said, yeah, we have a lot of questions to go over, but we don't want to kill the vibe, so we have to split this into half and continue part 2 next week. So we have a lot of contributions here since everybody's benefiting. So the next question is, have you ever seen a job ad or a job description, like a job requisition, and thought this isn't for women? Have you ever seen a job ad, like a job posting, and thought this isn't for women? A, why? And the second part of the question is, how can companies fix that? So I'll repeat this one more time. Have you ever seen a job ad, any job posting, and thought this isn't for women? Why and how can companies fix that? And this I'll open it. Caitlin, I'm sorry, is your virtual hand still up, or this one was from the previous question?
I'm sorry, that was the previous question. I'll take it down.
Okay.
No problem. I was just making sure.
But I'll quickly say no. I don't read ads that make me feel like it's not for me.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.
All right, let me go then. Yeah, this is Cynthia.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Cynthia.
Now that to the question, yes. Oh yes. Well, when it has to do with networking, scanning. I mean, when I see the job description and I see configuration coding, yes, that was how I used to think that during my job, said that this work is for men, because I didn't have the technical know-how at that early stage. And I think it has to do with the like because I was not introduced to, you know, this STEM program at my early stages in my education. I think that is what causes it, and it doesn't have anything to do with the companies. That is what I believe, because now what I have realized is, so long as you go for the interview and you are able to answer the questions, you speak and tell them what they want from the person who is supposed to, you know, they are looking for the job. Even if you're a female, they give it to you. But it is because we don't have the technical know-how. Like right now, where I am, it is not more technical. People do the scanning for me and I review. Everything is done. I just go to the site and then I review and then consult the technical team and they act on it. And that is how I am performing now. But maybe if I had known the science and the engineer and the technical and this mathematics program at my early stages, like during the elementary stages and building up on it, maybe the skills would have been there, and I don't think I would have been scared or thought in the beginning that, oh, this work is for men or this work is for someone. So I think it has to do, it doesn't have to do with the companies. I would say it has to do with our parents. Like right now, what are we, the parents, doing for our kids? Are we introducing them to this STEM education so that, you know, you don't shun your female kids away from technology? Because the ladies, the kids tend to stay with their mom, and then we teach them, like maybe you'll be buying them books concerning cooking and teaching them how to take care of the house. But then I think we should introduce them, get them toys that they'll be building, and books that they'll be, you know, things about technology. There are things for kids, you know, games and stuff for kids that will encourage them. I think that will break this bridge. It's not, I don't think it's the companies. It is we, the parents. We need to start at an early stage and introduce our kids to this technological industry. That's my opinion. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cynthia. Anybody from the panel? And then we move into, okay, go ahead, Doc.
I'm open to global opportunities. And so there are some job postings on LinkedIn that actually say male candidates. Yeah. So I look at those, I think how limiting, and I move on, because I'm not one to try to wedge my way into any place where I'm not welcomed. I think I have a lot to offer, but I don't have the time for that kind of, you know, approach. And I'm sure there's some real reason behind that wording. It might have a religious context, but they are out there.
Okay, thank you for the insight. Thank you for the insight. Like, I really didn't think in today's day and age that was going to be like a thing. But yeah, thanks for that insight. Teresa, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to add that, I mean, seeing a job description, going out there, I guess I've gone beyond looking at myself like a woman. I'm more looking at myself like, what skill set do I have? And so once I look at a job description, do I have the skill set to do the job? So I think it's about time that, yes, we are women, there are different stereotypes out there, but look beyond who you are and put your skills forward. And once you do that, you'll go places, you know? And for me, I'm not scared changing jobs, because in my current role, my company, I've changed roles like 4 times. And there's this guy saying, how do you do it? And I'm like, before I get there, I make sure that I have what it takes. I prep myself to the point that I'm not going to be said, like turned down and said no. So it's about your skill set and not seeing yourself like a woman. It's a mindset change. If you elevate your thinking and not look at the negative stuff that is pulling you down, I bet you can go places. And I've been that point where, I mean, the earlier contributions, I wanted to say something like, you have to pay attention when people criticize you. Don't say that because you're a woman. Because I remember my previous job, my manager said one thing, the next manager said the same thing. And I'm like, no, I have to pay attention. So don't just leave that space of me, I'm a woman, and try to see yourself as a person who is trying to climb up. And once you do that, you're going to climb mountains, not even realizing that you were a woman. Because there was this job that I went for interview, I think FedRAMP compliance manager. I haven't done the training. I haven't done anything. I self-studied to the third interview person. And this person was like, well, I'm not really a high decision person. So I just went there to laugh. And that's how I lost the job. So wherever you find yourself, take yourself out of the woman's space and think of who you are as a person and the wisdom, the knowledge, the confidence you are bringing to the table. And if you go there and you are speaking, people like your knowledge will let people turn their heads to you than seeing you like a woman. So I just wanted to share that out there.
All right. Thank you, Teresa. Nana, go ahead.
Doc, I just want to put this out there from personal experience on the job. Mostly on my job, like every day we have something that we call the stand-up that we all meet as an IT group. And then they scares whenever if somebody's having an issue, there's a situation that came up, maybe you didn't understand what it was and all that. But then what area I've got to understand is that because we are like a team now, we do this almost every day, a year. So people kind of like get out of the corporate world and start, even in our conversations, it become like buddies using languages, foul languages and all that. And then there was a time that there was a lady, there were two ladies that were in the group, right? One of them was feisty, like she would just even argue with the guys no matter what. But there was one that was kind of like a little bit down. Even if you use some words, somebody would tell her, hey, you look beautiful this morning. And then she wouldn't take about the positive aspect, but okay, so for all these while that I've been here, you never saw me beautiful this month because of a new, so what I'm trying to say is that it's a job that you are going to do. Understand that it's a job and your skills is what made you over there. So focus on your job, get it done, stand out, even when people cannot do it, before they know you have done your part. And you'll be the reference instead of you sitting down, accepting all the criticism and then downgrading yourself. Always, if you believe you are not the best, you will never be the best. So what I'm trying to say is that with all the women, all the guys over here, those of us from Africa with the big accent and all that, the difference that you set for yourself, if you are able to say that, hey, I'm not from here, this is not meant for me, or this is not something that I'm even fully qualified to do. But once I've been given the opportunity, I want to make the difference. I want to stand up. And if you take that mentorship or that thought and always want to stand up, there will be no any aggression or no negativity that you think you cannot do it. So I believe everybody can do anything once you put your head to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kwame. So we will leave it back to Michael, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right, thanks. Yeah, so that actually is the last question for tonight. I think we have like about 8 minutes before we hit the top of the hour. Before I let Dr. Edu sign off, appreciate everybody's contribution. Obviously, everybody can tell this conversation can go on. And since we did not want to kind of kill the vibe and also give opportunity for people to contribute, because this has been extremely helpful and very insightful. So we'll for sure continue with the part 2 next week. So I'll kick it over to Dr. Edu to sign us off for tonight. And I appreciate all the panel members and those contributing as well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Brian, go ahead and then we'll wrap it up.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Just wanted to say that this was a very insightful conversation tonight. Thank you for giving this platform, but also wanted to let the women know, if you haven't seen the movie Hidden Figures, with the 3 Black women that launched John Glenn into space. They were the brains of doing that. And I encourage all of you to see that movie, because if they can launch somebody into space, you can do cybersecurity. I'm telling you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for that. Those words of encouragement. Like Michael said, there is a lot for us to discuss. So we are going to do part 2 next week.
Dr. Edu, before you go, one last thing.
Yes, go ahead, Wami.
Yeah, I've been pushing for this every day. We thank you for all the offer, all the brains, everything that you've been giving us. But there's one thing that we have been requesting, but it's not come to pass, and you know. So you can speak to it.
It's gonna be coming. Okay, so what Kwame is pushing for is for us to do an Eretmis conference actually in person, right? So everybody that we've been seeing online and on Zoom, we'll have the chance to really see ourselves in person and do like a 3-day conference. So that we are planning that something around February, March, thereabout. So we are going to pick some of the board members from this very group, right? And we will give it to you to run with it and come up with the fine prints of what we are going to do, and we'll choose a venue and a location. So you can start lobbying for locations, per state and per metro area, and we are going to consider that also as well. So Doc says LA, so we will consider that as well, right? Texas, Houston, okay. So I appreciate everybody's time. New York, yes, New York. Dr. Edu is in New York, so I'm biased when it comes to New York. Ohio is also good. Not about MD, Atlanta, Georgia. Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. So we are surely going to organize that conference. Bring the whole family together. Bring some great speakers. Also, women in cybersecurity is going to be part of the discussion for us, and we are going to bring mentors and from our own and then also from outside, and we are going to learn a lot and continue to build a family. So I appreciate everybody's time. It's Friday night, so you could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here to share the knowledge, to be part of the discussion, and everybody's contribution was terrific. Frankly, I learned a lot from everybody today and always. And like I said, God willing, next week, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern, we are going to do the part 2. And we are going to look at more questions and discuss and also bring some more insights. So for our panel members and also for all our ladies on here, if you want to connect, please do go ahead and put your details in the chat. So you can put your LinkedIn, easy to find, in the chat, and everybody will be able to link up. And also for our sisters and for the women on here, this is a great platform for you to connect and also form a group within this, right? What I want to say is, like, all the women who are already working, if you form such groups, we can always discuss and encourage the others who are coming. And if somebody has to go to an interview and the role they are going for is, similar role that you are in, easy peasy. You just coach them on, what they'll be looking for and, like what exactly they need, and also tell them what you do on a daily basis. That way they can speak to it, right? That is how we help ourselves. I think one of our speakers spoke to that. Kathleen spoke to that. Networking is that networking is king when it comes to security and also all other industries. So I appreciate everybody's time. We are wrapping up. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and God willing, we'll meet again next week. Have a great one, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, you do same. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, baby.
Thank you, Sheila.